you're looking for something special. But if people say, oh, that was really special tonight and it's kind of unique, then the goal is achieved. Hello, I'm Nicolas Meier. I play guitar for quite a few years. When I was a kid, I got into Metallica and Bon Jovi, and quickly into Steve Vai and Satriani, and they became some of my heroes. Great guitar player, playing kind of rock, but fusing different music in there. And so that has been a big impact. Well, my journey from rock to then jazz, I had a great guitar tutor who opened my mind to Brazilian music and to Chick Corea and Herbie Hancock, and then Coltrane and Parker and Miles. And then I got into the guitar trio, Aldi Meola and John McLaughlin, Paco de Lucía. And all of those players, they have influence from different folk music from around the world. So from India, from Spain, and from Argentina. And it's all so interesting to study those styles. I met my wife, Songül, from Turkey, and she opened my mind to all the Oriental sound they have, which is also a big universe or mix of Persian, of Egypt, and Balkanic sound and gypsy sound. It's just wonderful, and a lot of different instruments. So I try a little bit of those, but I adapted to the guitar, and then having the nylon string with fretless, I was able to get a little bit of that Turkish influence, the quarter tone, and all put into jazz. Coming from Switzerland and living close to Montreux, there was the great Montreux Jazz Festival. And my parents brought me there, and I think that a few concerts really changed my life. And one of them was the Brecker Brother. It was fab. Brecker Brother in full power. And Mike Stern was there, guitar player Mike Stern, wonderful. I loved him with his blues and bebop sound and rock sound. And then George Whitty on piano, who actually, I transcribed a few solos of that concert. This instrument makes me think how to compose in a different way. And the best example is to think of the Oxley-Meyer guitar project. We try to compose thinking like, I'm thinking, oh, Pete will play the jazz guitar and I play the fretless. What can I do with that? What style and what chord progression, what melody? And lately he got the sitar guitar, which is so interesting sound. And so I came up with this country tune, the Austin Bar. And of course, I'm on the 12 string, which makes it very country type. And he was first playing, I thought, oh, we're gonna have the jazz guitar. But actually, when we were trying and performing the piece, when we were practicing, there was the sitar guitar there. And then he tried it and said, wow, this sounds a bit more unique. And that was how it came. And I love it. I love to play that tune just to hear him playing the sitar guitar on top. Music genres, yeah, there's less barrier, but At the same time, I think quite a lot of people like a certain style and stick with it, which is great. But I think nowadays, especially us as a musician, we can really travel from one place to another. So especially with the jazz thing, we can put all the influence, folk influence, Brazilian influence, and flamenco influence with jazz. And I think you can do this with rock, different rhythm, different melody, which stick. And rock sometimes is an attitude. Also jazz should be a freedom of speech. Playing with Jeff, what did I learn? I think the most important thing I have from him is to be unique. He was so unique, even though everybody wanted to try to copy him, nobody could get it as it is. Close, but one of the elements he liked in me, hopefully, was that I was also trying to be unique. I think he was interested in the way I thought and in the way I compose, and I think that made it really interesting. And that's why I made also my last album, Last Sunset, with all the tunes I wrote for him, because it was such a great experience. If I can sit somebody down to listen one album, I would go for Pat Metheny, Charlie Hayden duo, or Passion and Warfare, Steve Vai. What kind of advice would I give to somebody younger, or to young myself? Follow your dreams. I think you gotta dream, and you gotta wish, as I wish, oh, I wanna be the best guitar player. You gotta follow it. And I will never be, but at least I go on the path of trying to be as good as I can be. Having the dream, push your limits.